Tonight on CTV News, drinking times are back in the spotlight. Why did this Defence Force helicopter land at this Christchurch school? And the latest on the city rebuild.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Kia ora, good evening. Would you like to see bars close earlier? Well, the Christchurch City Council is currently considering earlier closing times for bars and alcohol stores, but hospitality groups are fighting back. The local body should run with the policy. That's what this alcohol addiction director would like to see from the Christchurch City Council after local government dropped a controversial proposal after getting a disapproving letter from the hospitality industry. The council's been working on tightening alcohol rules, looking at where and when alcohol can be sold. The draft local alcohol policy would see restrictions for off-licence bars, cutting closing times back to 9 p.m, and would see most bars shut up shop by 1 a.m, excluding those in a defined area of the central city, allowing them to stay open beyond that. But the director of the National Addiction Centre in Christchurch says they're heading in the right direction.
I think the council's proposal is very reasonable. I think that it's definitely a step forward. It could be more robust, but I think they've come up with something that's a good compromise at this point.
However, Hospitality New Zealand didn't agree with the proposal by council, writing a letter to both Mayor Leanne Dalzell and councillors a day before the draft policy review was due to be addressed in the chamber. In that letter, the association said they found fundamental issues with the policy, saying the penalisation of all licensed premises with trading hour restrictions is unreasonable when many sites don't demonstrate impact with alcohol-related harm. But Salmon disagrees.
Well, I'd like to see their data because I think it's it's really pushing it uphill for anybody to say that they are not contributing to alcohol-related harm in a vicinity.
And he says there's been a lot of pressure put on city councils, saying the government has stepped aside and left them to deal with the problem.
The alcohol industry is so well funded, their pockets are very, very deep, their influence is considerable, and they will be there lobbying the government, and the government will be quietly leaning on councils. So I think the whole thing is actually quite scandalous, and I think that over time it will come out just how much time, how much energy, how much money has gone into a process which is not actually going to get alcohol-related harm reduced.
Hospitality New Zealand weren't available for an interview today, but in a letter released to the City Council, says they would challenge the lawfulness of the draft local alcohol policy and it should stay as it is, saying they've received feedback from both their members and local branch committee to take legal action if the process is not fair and reasonable. But Salmon says the council should go ahead with the policy.
Personally, I'd like to see that the council follow through on this local alcohol policy. There's been a highly consultative and expensive process, and for the alcohol industry to turn around at this late stage and say we don't like it and we're going to take you to court is really undermining democracy.
Now the council will be hoping they won't have to start the policy from scratch. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. The New Zealand Defence Force is pushing to get more women involved in the military, and their latest recruits could be coming from a local Christchurch school. Marcus Gibbs explains.
There was a buzz of excitement in the air this morning at Marion College. All eyes were in the sky as the Air Force arrived. New recruits are the current targets of the Defence Force, and the predominantly male-dominated military is seeking more females to join its ranks.
Our big aim this year is to get more females to join, and the ones that are in, to keep them in there as well.
Figures from the New Zealand Defence Force show less than 15% of new recruits are women. Between 2013 and 2014, more than 1,100 people were recruited, but only 157 of them were women.
The aim of the Defence Force is trying to get 30% females, which is an awesome goal for us to try and achieve.
Hannah is an electronic warfare operator. She desperately wants extra females to join her in that area.
I'm the last female in my trade, out of about 60 males at my unit here at Burnham.
The helicopter quickly drew attention after it arrived, with the girls poring over it and trying out the different features.
I can just imagine flying into a war zone or going into relief in one of these helicopters and just touching down, with everyone around you.
The military is traditionally male-dominated, but women have been breaking down the barriers for years now and can take on any role.
I reckon girls can do it just as well, if not better.
15 years ago, squadron leader Anna Shaw joined the Air Force. She says her career as a pilot has taken her all over the world.
I've done some training in America, a lot of training in Australia with our allied nations. I've done some relief in the South Pacific as well, and tropical training over there, to basically helps us prepare for the worst events that can happen.
It's not a glamorous lifestyle. There's no room for dresses or makeup bags.
It's a hard job, but there are lots of other jobs out there that are just as physically and mentally demanding as well.
Marion College normally has about 2 or 3 students joining the Defence Force each year, and they would like to see this number grow. Already several students have decided military life is just what they want to experience.
I definitely think we need more women in the army.
I think it'd be quite cool going around helping out with relief and getting, just seeing what it's all like.
But going to a combat zone isn't easy. Sergeant Tame has been to Afghanistan 3 times on different deployments.
I was deployed with males for the first time. I was one of 2 females in a patrol. They were like my brothers. They always looked after me. I never had to think about... I knew that it always be there to have my back in any situation.
The Defence Force will spend the rest of the week travelling to different Christchurch schools to try and attract more females to the job. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The search continues for 64-year-old Murray Edge, who went missing while hunting in the upper reaches of the Tingawai River in South Canterbury nearly 2 weeks ago. Extensive searches of the area by search and rescue teams have been hampered by bad weather, and police want to hear from anyone who's been in the area to help with inquiries. It's a charity supporting disabled children, and this year it had a fashionable twist. The models came out to play at the annual Star Jam event. Here's more on the story. The crowds and the catwalk. These jammers are ready to strut their stuff as a new highlight to this charity event here in Christchurch. It's been around 3 months in the making, with a group of around 20 young people from Star Jam working alongside a modelling agency to give children with disabilities the chance to take to the catwalk. And the group's coordinator says she's happy with the turnout.
It went really, really well. I think the jammers' expression at the end of the night was probably the greatest thing that ever I wanted to see. So once I saw that, I was kind of stoked with how everything was running.
The non-for-profit organisation is all about creating performance opportunities for young people with disabilities, with workshops designed to help them achieve. The group's put on many shows, but Welsh says this is the first time they've ever hit the runway.
This is huge for us. Like, we're always trying to get people on board to support us, and as a charity that's probably not as well recognised throughout New Zealand, like, to have an opportunity to do an event like this is incredible for us. So yeah, no, awesome.
And the director of the modelling agency says it's hard to believe how it's all worked out, hailing the event as a success.
Huge, absolutely huge. I initially talked about this event with Mary before Christmas, and probably in the last month or so it's been massive. And I've brought on a team. I've got my stylist and a couple of other people helping her. So it's been massive.
She believes it's important to have an event like this, bringing the message out that beauty has no limits.
I've got 2 young daughters, and I need to make sure that we live in a world where beauty is not unattainable. It's not just Photoshop. It's not just your 6 foot beautiful people. They're great, and they make it's my job is to help work with them. But we've seen a young Down syndrome girl open up New York Fashion Week last year. There's some new laws coming out in Paris about things. I think it's really important that we start looking at beauty in a slightly different way.
And then they took to the spotlight, accompanied by one of the agency's models, with all of them enjoying every minute. They've had a few practices and dress rehearsals leading up to the event, and there were a few nerves before the show started, both for Walsh and the jammers.
I think they were, but I think that's quite normal. They're like that before any of the shows we've done through Star Jam before. But it's kind of nervous excitement feeling. Like, they absolutely loved being out there, and they could not wait, and they've told all their friends and family about it for weeks and weeks and weeks.
However, one of the jammers I spoke to says that wasn't the case for her.
I never been nervous with anything like this in my whole entire life.
And her favourite part of the night?
Striking a pose.
What pose did you strike?
This one.
And she did just that. And Walsh says to see the kids having fun is satisfying, only being in this role for just over 6 months.
The most rewarding role you can be in, yeah. I mean, I'm more than happy to work, you wouldn't believe it, but more than happy to work like 50-hour weeks, 60-hour weeks in a role like this, because you get so much out of it. It's not not like another, Monday to Friday role. Like it's something that's definitely worthwhile.
The event raised around $3,500, all going back to the Star Jam to give these passionate young people more performance opportunities. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. I want one of those onesies. Well, still to come on CTV News, Dion Swiggs from Rebuild Christchurch joins me after the break.
Hi, I'm Chris Lynch. Join me every Monday at 8:30 on CTV as we discuss the issues affecting you, your family and everything to do with Canterbury. That's CTV 8:30 right here.
Computer not working? Replace or repair? DIY or get a technician? Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
The preparation, the devotion, the fearlessness, the intensity. Runway model management. First impressions are everything.
Made to measure interiors, made with care, made for you.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishing as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishing, Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
And welcome back to CTV News. Well, Dion Swiggs joins me now to give an update on the Christchurch rebuild. Welcome, Dion. Thanks for coming in.
G'day.
Did you have a good long weekend?
It was fantastic.
Good.
Yeah,
So did I.
Anzac Day, a lot of work.
Yes, definitely. I'd imagine that too. Straight into it, insurance companies, they come up with a new thing of offering cash settlements. What does this really mean?
I mean, the insurance companies have been offering cash right from the day one, but they're really starting to wind down their managed repair program. So Tower have now come out and saying, we're in our managed repair program. They've got about 200 that they're repairing now. There'll be 200 more in the process. IAG are doing it, and so are EQC. So from 1st of June, if you're not in the EQC build program, you'll be offered a cash settlement from them. They're winding down their EQR, their Fletcher program, from about 450 people down to around 100. So, these kind of things are winding up. They need to have a tail end. So that's just what they're doing, cash settling.
Fantastic. Let's talk about Sarah now. They've opened up a new hub, haven't they? Do you want to tell me more about that?
Yeah, so in the No Hub, this is actually going to help with those cash settlements and people that might be a little bit confused about maybe what they're offered. In the No Hub out at Eastgate is really for people to go within any sort of insurance or residential recovery kind of matters. So if you've got cash settlement, you don't know what's going on there, you can go down there. But they're also catering for lots of flooding issues and all those kind of things, so people are getting their land claims. So go down there if you've got concerns. Also the Residential Advisory Service, which is what the government, the RAS, they've been another $1 million funding, so they're going to be around for about another year. So there's plenty of support for people if they are confused about those issues.
And do you think it'll be helpful for the people at home as well?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Awesome stuff. Let's talk about now social housing. Now, obviously the council, they've released quite a lot of social housing recently. It's all happening really, isn't it? Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, so Knightbridge has just released, or opened last week, the council, that's 8 units, and they're really catered for a lot of at-risk people in the community, and this is the Ngaranui. EQC finally cash settled a lot of the insurance settlements late last year, so now they're really getting in the program. There's about another 25 units that are going to be opened between October and December this year as well. So, really cool, council's getting involved, getting those houses up and really catering for the vulnerable people in our community.
Definitely, because it's been a long kind of wait for them too, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, they needed to get their cash or their insurance settlement as well
definitely.
from
Just like
EGC.
everyone else
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
Definitely. Let's move on to the poppies over Gallipoli. Interesting restructure going on there. They've raised the land and stuff like that too, haven't they?
Yeah, the poppies over Gallipoli was released, was made in 2003. It's just a sculpture that commemorates Gallipoli and whatnot out in the east at Travis Wetland. It's been rebuilt or repaired. It's subsided quite substantially in the earthquake. So the land, obviously, the liquefaction, it subsided. So they built it up, put it onto higher ground, and they opened that year on Monday. So there was a little ceremony, and we went and had some community planting out there as well.
Oh, so it's a good timing as well,
Yes.
isn't it? Very good timing. Alrighty, I want to talk about the bus exchange actually now, because obviously that's opening soon. That was meant to open, was it? They didn't really have a deadline, did they? But it's going to be April-ish. We're getting to the end of that now. So what's happening there?
So around May 15th is the date that we've been told that it'll be reopened. So it's a stage one. So it's the partial reopening, as you can see there on the photos. Where the buses go in and you exchange. So the other parts, like the shop fronts and other bits and pieces, will be open at another stage. But this is really good. It's the second anchor project that's open. The first one was obviously the Hagley Oval. This is there. So it's progress.
Yeah, progress. That's good stuff. And finally, let's just talk about Jerry Brownlee. He's announced some new Crown Office stuff and all those type of things. More details on that.
Residential red zone, Crown offer of 50% for the uninsured and commercial land in the residential red zone. That was challenged by the Quake Outcast 3 times, and the High Court has now announced that they had to retract that offer and put a better one or something that was a bit more lawful. So Jerry Brownlee and Sarah, or Jerry Brownlee's instructed Sarah to take to make a recovery plan for them, and now they're going to have to consult on that. So I encourage everybody that actually feels about these people that were offered 50% to actually make a submission when Sarah come out and say, hey, look, what is our new offer, or what's going to be our approach?
So actually get out there and actually have
this is an opportunity for everybody in our communities to sort of get behind these people. I think they really, really deserve to have a fair offer.
Fantastic, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Dion. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Alrighty, still to come on CTV News, your sport and regions weather.
Kids television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
At Bowden Environmental, we specialise in all aspects of resource management, so you don't have to deal with the paperwork. With the skills and knowledge to organise any environmental work, we can guide you through the process from start to finish. From organising consents and farm environmental plans to pump and well testing, Bowden Environmental has it covered. Save time and remove the stress. See the specialist. Bowden Environmental. Computer not working? Replace or repair. DIY or get a technician. Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Arts 21 showcases the vast creative talent and minds that are making a name for themselves in Europe and beyond. Think outside the square with Arts 21.
And welcome back to CTV News, and now here's Gordon Finlater with the weekend sport roundup.
They may not have got their first win, but the mainland Tactics showed they can be competitive on Sunday when they gave the defending champion Vixens a run for their money in Melbourne. After being written off by many heading into the match, the Tactics had many pundits eating their own words when they found themselves with a 1-point lead at half-time. Starting at goal shoot before moving to goal attack, tactics shooter Bailey Metz had her best performance to date for her new side, shooting an impressive 32 from 35 attempts. The third quarter, often referred to as the championship quarter, saw the home side take command of the match, with the tactics failing to take advantage of their turnover ball. With the score within touching distance throughout the final quarter, the match went down to the wire, with the Vixens holding on to win 56 points to 52. The Canterbury Rams had a busy long weekend with 3 road games over 4 days. The road trip began on Friday night with the Rams taking on the undefeated Giants in Nelson. The Giants' combination of star import Mackenzie Moore and New Zealand legend Phil Jones turned out to be too much for the visitors, with the Giants going top of the National Basketball League with a 92-83 win. The Rams rebounded on Saturday though, with a third straight win over the Manawatu Jets this season. Rams co-captain Ethan Rusbatch was the star performer, putting up 27 points on the night. The Rams rebounding was the big difference on the night, with the side grabbing a whopping 24 offensive boards to create priceless second chance opportunities. The Rams wrapped up their weekend yesterday in Invercargill with a match against the Southland Sharks. The side were unable to finish on a high though, going down 89 points to 83 and having to settle with just the one win from their busy weekend. And finally tonight, Geraldine's Hayden Paddon made headlines at the weekend's Rally of Argentina, but for all the wrong reasons. The 4-day World Rally Championship event didn't get off to a good start for Paddon, with a broken exhaust manifold temporarily ending his rally on day 2. Things got worse on day 3 though, with Paddon's Hyundai landing on 2 wheels after a jump, which resulted in him shooting long off the road and injuring 6 spectators. Paddon's next event sees him return home to compete in the Otago Classic Rally early next month, before the Rally of Portugal in late May. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks, Gordon. And sticking with sport now, after a successful game against the Blues in the weekend, can the Crusaders continue their winning form? Marcus Gibbs reports.
The Crusaders training for a face-off against the Hurricanes, but Richie McCaw won't be in their midst.
Put his head in a bad place and paid the price.
After suffering a concussion during the game in the weekend, McCaw has been ruled out of the team.
He was knocked out for about a second in the game and it was a little bit blurry. Felt a little bit off, so it's best not to risk him.
Despite McCall recovering well since his concussion, medical staff made the call last night to keep him out of training.
Richie has made really good progress. He had a bit of a mild headache yesterday morning, and by yesterday evening he was feeling really well, but we'd made the decision that if he was still symptomatic on Monday, that he wouldn't play this weekend.
Even after the game he was really chipper and really fine. Even today he's back to 100%, but it's just not worth risking him.
McCall wasn't quite fit enough to start training yesterday, and if his first contact training is Friday, that would be considered too late.
If he's not fit to start it on a Monday, it means doing contact on Friday at Captain's Run, and I don't think that's appropriate that we wait that long. I think the best time to do contact is Thursday at training, and so he runs out of days.
Well, we're always cautious around concussion, head knocks and things like that, so we would always put the player safety ahead of wanting him to be out there playing for us.
And Kieran Reid suffered a serious concussion last year. He took his time coming back to the game.
We took our time, we didn't rush him back, followed procedures. It's really how he was feeling, whether he was confident, and he worked himself back into it, so I think we do it really well.
Meanwhile, Tom Taylor spent the morning reflecting on his team's victory against the Blues.
Really positive, it was a good feeling in the sheds after having a good win, and we can just build from there, but we've got a tough challenge this week.
The game plan for Saturday, to win of course.
We just got to play to our systems. They've got some really dangerous players, but we know what we can do and what we can bring to the game. And I think, if we just just be patient, get down the right end of the field, and the points will come.
This weekend's game will be crucial if the Crusaders are going to have a shot at winning the Super Rugby competition. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
And now it's time for your region's weather.
Kia ora everyone. Well, it was a chilly, wet start to the day today. Let's take a closer look at those temperatures. Down in Timaru, 12 degrees. Temuka and Geraldine both also on 12 degrees. Ashburton, 11 degrees down your way. Methven also on 11 degrees. Rakaia on 11 degrees. Darfield on 11 degrees for Tuesday. Leeston and Rolleston on 11 degrees. Lincoln also had a high of 11 degrees today. Ototahi, a wet start today with showers this morning. 11 degrees was the high. Over the hill in Akaroa, slightly cooler with 10 degrees for your Tuesday. Looking out north to the Waimakariri area, Kaipui, Rangiora and Amberley all had 11 degrees today. Taking a look further inland, Culverden and Hamner Springs both on 10 degrees today and 10 also in Cheviot. Kaikoura received a high of 11 degrees for Tuesday. Let's take a look at the weather in our main areas for Wednesday. Mostly fine with sunny periods in Timaru, but showers will develop late afternoon with cold southwesterly winds freshening. Tonight's low getting down to 3 degrees, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Ashburton, cold tonight with light frost. Cool tomorrow too with sunny periods and a spell of northeasterly winds. Wrap up warm, tonight's low will get down to 0. Tomorrow's high warmer on 14 degrees. A fine Wednesday in store for the Garden City with some cloud and some sunshine around with northeasterly winds. However, cold southwesterlies blustering through during the evening with showers. Tonight's low just 2 degrees and tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Up further, our coastal friends in Kaikoura can look forward to a mostly fine and sunny Wednesday with scattered cloud and light winds. Tonight's low getting down to 3 degrees and tomorrow's high 14 degrees. In other areas now, Temuka and Geraldine a high of 14 degrees. Methven, Rakaia and Darfield you can expect 14 degrees. Leeston, Rolleston and Lincoln can expect a high of 14 degrees tomorrow. Over in Akaroa, 14 degrees for your Wednesday. Some cloud about for our northern towns, Kaipui, Rangiora and Amberley all can expect 14 degrees, dropping to 4 degrees overnight. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot also on 14 degrees and a cold overnight low of 0. Looking ahead for Canterbury, cloudy and cold on Thursday with strong gusty southwest winds decreasing, becoming fine at night with cold frost settling in. At this stage it's looking good from Friday through to Monday with mostly sunny skies and moderate northeasterly winds. Pleasant temperatures by day but cold in the evenings with light frost possible. That's your weather update for Tuesday. Snuggle up and have a great evening.
And that's CTV News for Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jared McCulloch. Good evening.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.